Let's get one thing straight. If you're over 60 and still waking up without a clear plan for the day, you're not relaxing, you're deteriorating. Yeah, I said it. And no, this isn't a scare tactic. It's Harvard-level science. According to research from Harvard Medical School, older adults without a structured daily routine are 38% more likely to die prematurely, not from some freak accident, but from the slow, invisible decline that creeps in when your mind no longer has a reason to stay sharp. It doesn't hit you all at once. It's not loud, it's not painful, but it's real. The brain without direction doesn't rest. It fades, and here's the trap so many fall into. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to do nothing. That's exactly what 67-year-old Gerald from Virginia told himself. 12 months later, he wasn't traveling, he wasn't reading, he wasn't living. He was in a bed unable to recognize his own daughter. She told the doctor through tears. He just started sleeping more, doing less. And then it felt like he was gone. Let that sink in. The #1 lifestyle killer after 60 isn't cholesterol or blood pressure, it's passivity. Watching TV all day, endless scrolling, zoning out in your favorite recliner. That's not rest, that's neural shutdown. Columbia University researchers found that seniors who watch over 3 hours of news per day experience dramatic spikes in anxiety, sleep issues, and heart events. And yet, millions of older Americans treat the TV remote like a lifeline. Let's be blunt, you're not staying informed. You're stressing yourself into the grave. So what do? Here's your battle plan. Yes, battle. No, because staying sharp after 60 is a fight you can still win. Wake up at the same time every single day. Weekends aren't a free pass for mental decline. Plan your day the night before. Choose 3 specific actions, 1 physical, like a walk, 1 mental, a puzzle, a podcast, journaling, and 1 social, a phone call, lunch with a friend, even just chatting with the cashier. Cut the TV time, 1 hour max, and skip the news unless you want to invite anxiety into your bloodstream. You are not too old. You are not done. But your mind needs a mission. It craves structure. And if you don't give it one, nature will start shutting things down. You have 2 choices, live intentionally or fade quietly like Gerald. You still have time, but not forever. Start tomorrow, or lose years before you realize they're gone. Let's talk about what's on your plate. Because if you're over 60 and still filling your kitchen with white bread, deli meats, sugary snacks, and easy meals, you're not eating for comfort. You're speeding up your exit. No dramatics here, just the cold, clinical truth. After 60, your metabolism slows down by 30 to 40%. That means every wrong bite hits harder. You're not just gaining a few extra pounds. You're increasing your risk of heart disease, inflammation, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, and yes, early death. A study from the University of Minnesota found that people over 60 who eat ultra-processed foods once a day or more have a 62% higher risk of dying early. 62%. From what? From the so-called normal foods in most American kitchens. Store-bought bread, packaged meats and sausages, sugary coffee drinks, instant meals and snacks with labels you can't pronounce. And here's what makes it worse. You don't feel it. Not at first. There's no alarm bell, no sharp pain, just a quiet storm building inside. Artery inflammation, insulin resistance, organ stress. Until one day, it's not quiet anymore. Meet Sharon. She retired at 63, excited to finally enjoy life. She baked. She had sweet coffee every morning. She didn't feel sick, just a little tired sometimes. 2 years later, type 2 diabetes, neuropathy, partial amputation, wheelchair. Not because she gave up, but because she believed the lie that what's familiar is safe. It's not. So what do you do now? How do you reverse the trap? Let's break it down. 1. Clear your kitchen of the white trio. White bread, white sugar, white rice. They spike your blood sugar and feed inflammation. 2. Start every morning with real fuel. Think protein and fiber. Scrambled eggs, Greek yogurt, leafy greens, cottage cheese, a handful of nuts. No cereal, no toast, no sugary pastries. 3. Drink water, lots of it. Not juice, not sweet tea, not flavored water with a rainbow of ingredients, just plain water. Your cells need it more than ever. This isn't about looking good in the mirror. This is about staying out of the ER. You have to make a choice every single day. Feed your body what it needs to fight for you, or feed the very thing that wants to take you out. Your habits are either writing your recovery story or signing your discharge papers. Let's make this personal. If you're feeling pain, even something small, and brushing it off because it'll pass, you're playing a game with the clock. And trust me, the clock doesn't play fair. That's exactly what happened to Peter, 71, retired engineer, father of 3. He started feeling some stomach discomfort. Nothing sharp, nothing scary, just annoying. But he didn't want to make a fuss, didn't want to waste a doctor's time, didn't want to scare the kids. 2 months later, intestinal rupture, emergency surgery. He never left the hospital. Peter didn't die because of bad luck. He died because of silence. Here's the truth no one likes to admit. After 60, your body doesn't whisper. It signals. But if you ignore those signals long enough, they stop asking for attention. They go straight to crisis. Think about it. A little bloating could be your diet or the first sign of ovarian cancer. Some chest pressure might be heartburn or the early warning of a cardiac event. Skin changing color, a rash, could be minor or a sign of something deeper like vascular disease. And yet millions of older adults say nothing. Why? Because they don't want to worry anyone. Because they don't want to look weak. Because they've been told all their lives to tough it out. Let me say this loud and clear. Toughing it out is not strength. It's self-sabotage. Women over 60 are dying from cancers that could have been treated if caught early because they waited. Men are collapsing from sudden heart attacks because they didn't want to bother their families with checkups. This isn't heroism. This is preventable tragedy. So here's what you need to do, starting right now. 1. Start a symptom journal. Notice something off. Write it down. Frequency, time of day, intensity. Patterns matter. So does proof. 2. Schedule full checkups twice a year. Yes, even if you feel fine. Health isn't about how you feel. It's about what you don't see yet. 3. Stop shielding your family from the truth. You think you're protecting them? They'd rather sit with you at the doctor's office today than in a hospital room tomorrow. The goal here isn't to scare you. The goal is to keep you alive, because your story isn't finished yet, and you're the only one who can keep the next chapter from being your last. You don't need to be anyone's hero. You just need to show up for yourself. You can eat clean, you can power walk every morning, you can check every box on the healthy living list. But if you're doing it alone, your body is still aging, twice as fast. Let's be real. We weren't built to live in silence. We were built for connection, conversation, eye contact, laughter. And when those things disappear, the body doesn't just feel lonely. It starts to shut down. That's not opinion. That's hard science. Stanford and Harvard both found that loneliness increases the risk of early death by 45%, more than smoking, more than obesity. And we're not just talking about living alone. This is about emotional isolation, the kind that hits when there's no one to call at night, no one to ask, "Are you okay?" No one to say, "Hey, I miss you." That silence is loud, loud enough to stop a healthy heart. Take Barbara. 70 years old, she walked daily, ate better than most 30-year-olds. But after her husband passed, the house got quiet. Too quiet. She didn't complain, didn't want to burden her kids. 5 months went by, not one meaningful conversation. One morning, she didn't wake up. Heart failure, not from weakness, from emptiness. Because here's the truth. A heart without connection loses its reason to beat. So what now? How do you stop the slow fade into isolation? Here's the fix. And no, it's not optional. 1. Talk to someone every day, even when you don't feel like it, especially then. Call a neighbor, join a group, talk to the cashier. Human contact is medicine. 2. Call your kids, not to complain, to appreciate. Start with, "I just wanted to say thank you." Watch how it changes the conversation. Watch how it reconnects the bond. 3. Find someone who needs you. Volunteer, help a friend, check in on a neighbor. You don't need to be fixed. You need to feel valuable. Because when you're needed, you're alive. Listen, You don't need a perfect body. You don't need to be the fittest grandparent on the block, but you do need people, and they need you. Stop pretending everything's fine. Stop hiding behind "I'm okay." Because if your phone hasn't rung in days, if your voice hasn't been heard, you're not okay. And you don't have to stay there. Today's the day to reconnect, to be heard, to be seen, to be alive, not just surviving. So here's the question, and it's not rhetorical. Are you going to start living today, or are you just waiting quietly to disappear?